Welcome back to the Green Workbench. So I finally got my NUC, 5-frame NUC. It was about a month, about 5 weeks late, maybe even 6 weeks late. It ended up being on the 1 week I was going to head out of town. So I had to wait to get the NUC in the morning, get it installed before I could hit the road. So the first thing I needed to do was pry open the lid of the NUC. This was built out of plywood and all stapled down. So I had to really go for it with that crowbar, and as soon as there was even a little bit of space, those bees started flying out. I got the suit is new. I just bought it off of Amazon. You can get it to wherever you buy beekeeping supplies, you can buy the suits. But I opened it up and I saw there was a lot of comb, and it looked really healthy. And again, I'm not an expert. This is my first time with bees, my very first year, so I'm pretty excited about it. I got these boxes from a friend who had done beekeeping in the past. His hive died over the winter, and he just never got a new one, so they've just been sitting around. So to prep these boxes and combs, I had to clean them up. They still have a lot of wax and comb on them. So I kept that, but I had to clean them out really well because they've just been sitting outside, and then I froze them to make sure that any wax moth eggs that might be in there were dead. So clean and dead. So I've got those 5 frames. All those 5 that are remaining in there still have some comb in left. So now I'm taking each frame of my NUC out individually and looking to see, if I could see a queen. And I don't have all the terminology down yet. I've basically been reading books and watching a ton of videos and joining a couple different Facebook groups so that I can learn about it. There is a local association. I just haven't been able to join that yet because every time they've had a meeting, I've been busy. I do have a guy who has said he's willing to be a mentor towards me, so I have someone I can call with questions as well. It's interesting because I find if you look at groups, someone asks a question and there are 10 different people who say they are experts and have 10 different answers. And I think bottom line is bees are very resourceful and industrious. They know what they're doing, and they can pretty much do most of the work themselves with some pretty minimal handling. Definitely you want to keep watch for mites and keep those under control. But there's certain things everyone agrees on, but it's funny. Every time someone posts a question on Facebook, there's like 5 different answers. No, do it my way. No, do it this way. I've been doing this for 20 years. Do it this way. And everyone's different. So it's pretty interesting that way. I think the best thing is to find someone local and get the answers locally. So as I search, you can see a lot of really healthy bees here. Everything was looking really good. I never saw the queen, but I did see, larvae. So the queen is in there. And so I'm quite certain that the queen is in there. And you'll see I'm taking them out and I'm putting them back in the hive in the exact same order I took them out of the NUC box, because that's how the bees have built out their colony and how they've organized it, and you want to keep it the same organization as they have. And then eventually, hopefully, they'll build out and start using the wax and the comb on those that I left in the hive. And this is a 10-frame deep box, and I'm just starting with that. And you can kind of see down in that bottom right-hand corner, I've got a feeder. So it just slides in there in the opening, and I'm using just a 1-to-1 sugar to water ratio. I just heated up the water with the sugar. This is 2 cups in a mason jar, quart mason jar, 2 cups sugar, 2 cups water, warmed it up until all the sugar dissolved and let it cool. And I placed it there for them to eat while they start finding themselves in this new hive and exploring the area around it and really getting situated. And this, you don't need to be scared. It was exciting. It was a lot of fun. First time I've ever been in a situation where I have bees just buzzing and flying all around me and not even worrying about it because I know I'm wearing a protective suit. It was funny because the delivery were so late this year because it's been such a cold and wet winter. When I showed up at the store to pick it up, there were all these guys standing out in the parking lot watching the truck be unloaded. It was like Christmas Eve for a bunch of old guys waiting for their bees, and everyone was really excited that their bees were finally in. My trees bloomed probably a week prior, so the best blossoms were a week ago. There's still a bunch there, and there's a bunch of grasses and weeds and clover and other things blooming right now. But the fruit trees really bloomed a week earlier than I got the bees. All right, so I'm down to frame number 5, and so I wanted to be really careful. You want to push them tight together because you don't want to give the bees extra room to build odd-shaped comb. But I also didn't want to squish any as they were moving around while I was installing them in my hive there. So here I am checking out the last one, and we've got some capped brood. There's honey in there, so it's very well established. And from what I can tell, it seems to be very healthy. So very, very happy about that. I was going to record as I was working, but I had some neighbors who wanted to watch, so it didn't really work for me to be talking to you while they were behind me and I was kind of talking to them. So here you can kind of see that that old comb there on that one. So I took that out so I could fit the final frame in, move it up close to the bees, and then I will put that extra frame in and fit them all. So you never want to leave that space. It's a 5-frame NUC in a 10-frame box. You want to make sure you have 10 total frames there. So now I've got a ton left in the NUC, so I'm just going to shake them gently, try to get them out, and I couldn't get them all to leave that NUC box, so I ended up just leaving it on top of the hive after I shook them out and kind of tried to brush them out a little bit, and eventually they found their way into the hive. So it wasn't a problem. I just wanted to give them a good start. Honestly, I don't know that I needed smoke for this. I did it just because it was my first time, but they were pretty calm. So there, just give it a little shake, and you can see on the inside of there, they didn't all fall out. And then once that was done, I put the lid on, and I'm not going to do anything to it for a week. I'm going to let them get situated. The only thing that I will do is if they get to a point where they've eaten all the food, I'll replace that food. So let's see what they look like in a couple of days. All right, my original install was Monday. Today is Friday, so we're not going to check yet. But from the outside, everything looks good. They're clearly drinking the sugar water. It's a 1-to-1 sugar solution there. That is good news, and lots of activity here at the hive. In and out of my entrance reducer, and bees flying around. So just from the outside, it looks like we are doing well. We will check probably on Monday and do our first inspection. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check back often for my adventure in beekeeping. See you next time.